Well, hello there. Hello there. We have got massive news today. It's pretty incredible. There's a tremendous amount of news today. Tremendous. And we got to talk about it. There's a lot of new rules for X-Wing. I'm gonna share this out on social media because I'm gonna make a full breakdown video of all of the rules. I'm definitely gonna do that, but I want to just I guess I want to just go do a live for right now, and yeah, I'm just sharing this. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. So we got a lot. Like this is. So anybody just jumping in right now? This is the biggest change to X-Wing we have ever seen. This is bigger than when we got Epic, like huge ships. It's bigger than the huge ships. This is bigger than when we got 2.0. This is and it's a lot bigger than they kind of let on. So if you think about like all of the changes between Road being one big change, they've been taking, like, they took this giant pill and it's like they're trying to like break apart a kidney stone. Like they broke it into little pieces, and they broke it into little pieces. Just sharing this out on social media, and I'm gonna dive into it. I'm gonna talk about it with you guys. I'll do probably a more standardized video here, you know, like tomorrow or the next day or something, because there's so much to unpack here. It's insane. So so basically, now on the plus side, this could be a breath of fresh air for X-Wing players, especially if the game has started to go stale with you. This could be a very cool thing. On the negative side, change is bad, right? So, or at least a lot of people will feel that way. I'm just saying it's massive change, and to call it 2.5 is definitely a corporate decision, because this is so big. I think it skips 3.0 and jumps straight to 4.0. So yeah. So how's everybody doing today? I know the impromptu stream. I didn't know when we were getting this rules dump. So we've got scenario stuff. We've got a rules errata. I guess I'm going to start out with the big letter that they've dropped here. This is really something. X-Wing is no longer played with starships and is now played with creatures. You know, that's kind of, I mean, there's some changes that are almost that big. First off, no more 200 points. Now your build is 20 points. Okay? And they didn't just divide the points by 10, but mostly that's what they did. They've taken certain ships and drastically changed them in points as well. And but what they did is they added basically loadout points. So while this X-Wing might be a 3-point ship or a 4-point ship, it's not going to have loadout points that say how many upgrades you can put on there. Now, the upgrade points all stayed the same, but your upgrades don't count towards your squad build. So it's almost illegal to run an empty ship now. Almost illegal, because it would be pointless. It basically be like, you know, just surrendering. You know, like, there's no point. Upgrades don't count against your squad limit anymore. This is massive. So, you know, now also the ship minimum's been changed. So like, there's some really interesting things in here. So, the big thing is that now it's just 20 points, and there's a new points docket. They updated every single ship's points, and it's now like about a 10% of what it used to be. And then there's also a loadout value, so every upgrade. So you might have a 5-point ship with a 12-point loadout. That means you can put 12 points of upgrades on that ship for free. Can we call this 3.0? I don't think it's 3.0. I think it's 4.0. I think it's really it just shouldn't be called X-wing. We should call it TIE Fighter or something like that, because to me it's a whole different game. Or I don't know if it's a whole different game, but it's definitely a massive new addition. But yeah, 3.0 is probably the real way to describe this. It is effectively X-wing 3.0. I think the distinguishing factor about that is you still kind of can still play it with the 2.0 starter and the 2.0 conversion kits. There's going to be a whole lot of printing and playing you're going to need to do. And at some point, I think they're going to need to also do more stuff. By the way, we're going to do some giveaways for this stream. We're going to do some X-wing giveaways. We have got we've got a Captain Phasma here with Paige Tico on the other side. She might have even been errated, so this may not even be a legal promo anymore. But this is, dropped it. There we go. So we got Captain Phasma and Paige Tico. We're gonna do a giveaway in stream, and then we also got a Alexander Callis, double-sided with the fifth brother on the other side. So one of these I'll give away in stream. One of these will be given away on Discord. So if you guys aren't already in the Discord, you can join that. There's going to be a link down in the description below. And we're going to go through some more of this. Also, I want to do a big thanks to our awesome X-Wing sponsor, Luxury Playstyle. So head over to luxuryplaystyle.com and use code Crabbok VIP. You're going to save 15% off of those amazing full metal tokens. Be sure to check that out. They're fantastic. Orders of $35 or more are going to get a free lightsaber nunchuck token thrown in. And they also have tokens for Legion as well. So there are lots of tokens over there. They're the best you will find anywhere. And you're definitely going to want to save that 15% by using that code. All right, so will you do a how to get someone into this hobby video? I've done a lot of those. A lot of those. In this case, I've been holding off any new player videos for X-Wing for a long time because we knew that the whole thing was going to be turned upside down. So I didn't want to set people up for a 2.0 when 3.0 was on the horizon. So maybe once this is all processed, it might end up being a good time to get people in. I still have a feeling they're going to have to come out with a new starter because of some of the stuff we're going to see here. So big three. The main three changes. First off, your minimum squad is now 3. You have to have at least 3 ships, which means, and I think that's a big deal because when they put 11-point ships out there, since you can only have 20 points, that means you can't have 2 big ships because you have to. The biggest you can go is a 10 and a 2. You can't have 2 big ships anymore, basically, which or at least 2 semi-big ships. You can't, that. That's kind of a bummer. So you're gonna have a 2-point ship and then run 2 9s and a 2 or something like that, which is really weird. So if you wanted to run 2 10-point ships or something like that, you just can't, which is really, really interesting. So and that's a big significant change. I think all these changes are going to initially lead to a lot of homebrew and a lot of just kitchen table games where people do whatever they want for a while. But yeah, so no more 200-point lists. X-Wing 1.0 it was 100, and in 2.0 it was 200, and now in 3.0 it's 20. So 20-point lists is all you can have. Upgrades are free, but you can only take so many of them because each ship will have a loadout value. We're going to talk about that a little bit more when we get to they have basically they've changed the upgrade slots on a lot of ships. A lot of more ships have missiles and things like that now. Rex says it's a 10-year-old game now. Not sure how I feel about such a major change. I understand. This is significant, and I've been playing it for a long time. And so, for an old player like me, it's I would have rather they just done a whole new game, because then I wouldn't have all these old rules in the back of my head. That's the hard thing, is when you come into an old game and you've got all the old rules. It's hard. I had a hard time going from 1.0 to 2.0, and that wasn't even that significant. It wasn't even that drastic, So they're talking about. There's one question in here that I think is really so why was this change made? This one is interesting to me. It says, well, answering this question requires a look at the bigger picture than just how squads are constructed. One of the reasons we added scenarios to X-Wing is to give players direction. when they are thinking about the game. Before, when the game had no scenario play, it was very difficult for new players to understand what they were trying to accomplish while looking at the game. Well, that's strange. That's a strange thing for me, because I think it was pretty simple. You build you're trying to make a list to blow up other ships. Players were asked to engineer an obfuscated advantage that was difficult to assess with fresh eyes. First off, I've never asked anybody to do that. I've never asked anybody to obfuscate anything. I don't know who wrote this. This is weird. Who asked? Did somebody ask AMG to obfuscate an advantage that was difficult to assess with fresh eyes? I never asked anybody to do that. Let me know in chat if you've ever asked anybody to obfuscate an... I'm being obtuse here. I mean, they chose some very strange language, and, like, they're trying to say something simpler, but they're afraid that if they say it simpler, they're going to get, But seriously, if you've ever asked anybody to obfuscate an advantage, then you're a bad teacher. But no, they're not talking about from a meta perspective. They're talking about new players. New players aren't in the meta yet. Now, granted, there might be a case where a new player showed up to like a national qualifiers and got the floor wiped, and that should be happening in any game. If you go to a highly competitive event and you don't know how to play the game, you should lose, and you should lose badly, right? Now, granted, maybe people will be cool and nice to you and stuff, and you can still have a nice time, but I don't think you should be able to walk into a competitive tournament as a brand new player and expect to go in there and win. I just don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's certainly not the way that FFG's competitive scene ever was. And maybe AMG just wants, maybe they want their best players to lose and their worst players to win. I don't know. But, you can get demonetized obfuscating on stream. Hi, I'm John, and I ask people to obfuscate. Get out of here, John. You're not welcome. Go. What? I'm going to ask you to obfuscate. No, I'm just kidding. You're welcome. But here's the thing about this paragraph that is very strange, because the reasoning, I guess my point is, I don't believe that this was the reasoning. I believe that the reason was that this game was complicated, and they wanted to re-engineer a new game, but they weren't allowed to just make a whole new Star Wars game. It's like, hey, they were told, you have to keep making X-Wing. And but this game is 10 years old. It's got 1 million expansions. It's super complicated. And we haven't been doing it all that long. We don't know it that well. I'm like, well, you have to do it. I'm like, well, if we have to do it, we're going to do it our way. And we're going to redesign the whole thing. And I think it was a political decision. And then they said, all right, but you have to come up with a reason. You can't tell people it was a political decision. So that's where they came up with the obfuscate reason. Because nobody was ever... I don't think anybody asked a new player to obfuscate advantages that were difficult to assess with the fresh eyes. They're saying it wasn't clear what was going to give you advantages. Right. I understand that, and Sean, that's a good point. But the problem is, in this new thing... let me keep going, because here's why. Scenario play gives players clear direction on what a squad needs to be able to accomplish in a game. I need to secure these satellites. I need to recover supply crates strewn across space. Wrong. I call that baloney. It clearly doesn't, because, as we know, there are 4 scenarios. And in all 4 of them, you still get points by blowing each other up. So you still have to do the same thing you had to do before. But now there's more, right? You still have to shoot enemy ships. You still want to kill enemy ships and get points and blow them up and clear. And you still want to table your opponent. That's still the objective. There's just another objective on top of that. So by adding scenarios, you've complicated things more, because now a new player's like, wait, I don't know if I should build to blow you up or if I should get the satellites. But additionally, there's 4 different scenarios, and for standard play, for organized play, for tournaments, it's going to be randomized. So even if you go to a new tournament, you're not going to know what you're going to have to do. So now you've got 4 different ways, 4 different courses to build. Whereas before, new players just had to know they had to roll dice. They had to be able to blow up other players' ships. Now you got to blow up other players' ships and get this antenna and secure the satellites and get the cargo crates. And you have to be able to do everything. And so that's why I don't buy this explanation that this is much simpler for new players. I disagree with that completely. I'm going to get to the comments here in just a second, because I know there's a lot of comments. I'm definitely going to get to them, because this is just crazy, of an explanation. And I think that's my, while I haven't played the new rule set yet, it just dropped. And so I'm trying not to make a judgment on the changes or the rules, but my judgment here is on the explanation that's given and the verbiage. I just don't buy it. I think this was a corporate political change. I don't think it was, a let's help new players get into this game much easier, especially when there's no starter for new players. They have to get the 2.0 starter. So aren't they going to be even 10 times as confused when the rules in their starter are completely wrong? I don't know. Don't fix what isn't broken, right? Luxury playstyle going to rock those new scenario tokens. Well, since they were just announced today, I won't speak for luxury playstyle, but I believe that those new tokens will be available. They've done pretty much just everything else, so yeah, it's definitely a thing. So that's the other thing, is the loadouts, right? So like they give an example here of Fen Rao having 7 squad points. He costs 7 squad points. He's a more expensive character, right? And it's very similar to Marvel Crisis Protocol's point scheme, where 2 is like the cheapest, like garbage throwaway character. 3s and 4s are a lot more common, where 5s and higher are like your powerhouses. Although this one goes a little higher, because like Marvel Crisis Protocol, I think 7 is the highest, and I saw like Darth Vader's an 11. The Darth Vader in the TIE Defender. Xandril plays gaming. Xandril plays says, I'm just going to stick with playing 2.0 now. Well, that's fine if you still have the old points printed out. Or if, the problem with playing 2.0 is if you wanted to play that new Gauntlet, well, they never gave you the 2.0 points for the Gauntlet, even though those points existed, because I know that like Max and the X-Wing guys and the Armada guys and everybody from FFG that was working on that whole wave and all the other stuff, like they all made points for everything. But we're never going to see them now. So you won't be able to use this new stuff with 2.0. You're now, if you want to use any of the new content, you must use these new rules, because these are the only points that are published. So, quick build cards are now going to be the standard. I said this long ago, that they were going to go straight into quick building and kind of take away list building. And it does look like that they're really going. It won't surprise me if the next big update is that that's their new format, is quick build only. Just like Marvel Crisis Protocol. They're basically turning this into closer and closer to Marvel Crisis Protocol with every update. So this is interesting. There's more. There's more, because there's some crazy stuff. So if you go to the scenario play, this is really interesting. So again, they talked about the scenarios. This is one of the other documents that's out there right now. We've got, it's got the scoring, and I haven't dug too deep into all of these, although they do look like they're very similar. You've got supply caches right here. Everything kind of starts with the center, and then scramble of transmissions. The setup is the same for all of them, at least for the starting setup. But there's the new tokens, and we now have a range 1.5 ruler. Tell me this isn't a 3.0 edition. We have a whole new range ruler now. Tell me that's not a significant change to X-Wing. We have a range 1.5 ruler over here. So, yeah, component changes, like major component changes like that, it's a big deal, right? I don't know. And tell me that's not going to confuse new players, too. I mean, it's self-explanatory. All right, it's 1.5, I guess. Yeah. There's a 1.5 range ruler now. So, again, I haven't read through everything. That's why I wanted to just do this 4.0 game. Right. That's what I'm like. This is so much more. If we thought it was 3.0 before, now, like, calling it 2.5 is just laughable. So it's definitely 3.0. So the rules reference is in here. There's a lot of there's a lot of blue text. So on the good stuff, because again, I'm not trying to crap all over AMG. All right, I don't want anybody for that to be their takeaway. I know that this probably wasn't an easy thing for them to do. My criticism is I don't buy the explanation why, because I don't think that this makes it any easier on new players. I don't. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's going to be some new players who show up and they're like, "Oh, this is the easiest thing ever." It might, maybe, and maybe that will be the case once they have a new core set, because I think this game really needs a new core set right now. Like, and it's had a lot of core sets over the years. Yeah, maybe there'll be a 0.5 range ruler. Yeah, I mean, I feel like they just need to make a whole new game. I want their. My dog is barking. Hera, shh, stop that. Thank you. All right, but yeah. So major changes. The errata are pretty wild. So we've had some errata already. Let's look over at the errata. All of these there's a lot of stuff that's errated in here, and I don't have every card memorized. So off the top of my head, I don't know. Like, I know Hera. I think Hera was an older one. This one was. Oh yes, my dog is named Hera. But yeah. But all the Delta 7s. Now, I believe this is an option, right? So the Delta 7s are now Delta 7Bs. I don't know why they errated that, or like, so I guess my thing is, like, do you have to run them as Delta 7Bs now, or can you run them as Delta 7s with only the 2 attack? Because all of the Delta 7 Ether Sprites were 2 attack, right? And then there was the upgrade, the 7B upgrade. Let me scroll down. And yeah, they're all 3 attack now. And so that takes away some list building options too, right? So we've got the ship points here, Imperial. So this is kind of how the ship points document is going to look now. You have the cost and then the loadout value. So only thing that really matters as far as list building is the cost. As far as you have 20 points. And that's pick 5 4s or whatever, or 2 8 or 2 decimators, right? So everything in here is new. Everything in here is new, but the loadout value of all the stuff you can put on there is one of the things that's going to make these so different. Chirano has a loadout value of 35. Problem is, if you run Chirano, you can't run 2 decimators. That's an interesting thing, right? If you run Chirano and a decimator, you cannot run 2 decimators. Wait, yeah, 9 and 8. Yes, you can. I'm never mind. I'm crazy. You'll be stuck taking a 2. You'll be stuck taking a 2. So you'll have a harder time running 2 decimators. But yeah, but the loadout points is the point cost of all the upgrades, and so the upgrades are all in this upgrade points document over here, right? So we have all of that stuff. So, do we have a band list also? Let's open up the band list. And we have a band list here. You can't fly Hera in a Ghost anymore? Well, of course. Let's take the most iconic pilot for my favorite show and ban her. Okay. But yeah, Han Solo. Let's ban Hera, and let's ban Han Solo in the Millennium Falcon. For the this is what that is. This I think this is the Resistance one. He's banned, and you could just place him wherever you wanted, right? Maybe they banned him because that would screw up their scenario play, because then you could just put him on the objectives and start getting points right away. I guess they banned the Slave 1. That's a Disney change right there. That's it. That's a Disney change. It's now called Boba Fett's Starship 1. No, I'm joking. So yeah, this is the ban list. I hate ban lists. I just don't like them at all. So I probably won't ever use. I will probably never actually pay attention to the ban list. I'll probably always ignore the ban list unless I'm going to a tournament. But for casual play, please use everything on here if you want. Use whatever you want. So we got range 1.5 now. If you guys are just joining us. Yeah, no, I guess a ban list it can help keep things under control. I think it depends on how much you play. Like, I know I play Armada a lot more than X-Wing, and I know like there's a lot of people that don't like running like a certain setup of like onagers, which it potentially can be a real bad situation. I'd rather not have it banned. I'd rather just not run it. I'd rather just play stuff that's better, and and if we're playing friendly games and you're bringing a real try hard list like that, when it wasn't supposed to be, like if you're gonna play something that's super like trying so hard to win at any cost, like I'd rather know ahead of time so I can also bring a competitive list and see if I can beat it. But like things like that, like if you want to use something that's banned or whatever, go ahead. Like I'd like to know beforehand. Like if you're using something that's like broken or overpowered, let me know ahead of time, and so I can try to bring a list to counter it. I think that's more fun that way. But that's the way I approach casual play. Like for tournaments and stuff, then sure, maybe the ban list is appropriate for that. I haven't done an X-Wing tournament in years. So yeah, so I mean, although I had done some leagues a while back. If you hate the ban list, you never play Yu-Gi-Oh? I don't play Yu-Gi-Oh. This is why I refuse to play in tournaments. Yeah, it's like, I don't know. It just depends. There's times where it can be really fun. So you can only run Hera in the A-Wing now. So I want to find the Republic and see how our Delta 7s are looking. Rebel, Scum and Villainy. What's the most expensive? I think it's Vader and the Defender. Boba Fett is 10 points now. 100 points for Boba Fett. Well, 100 points in X-Wing 2.0. Let's see. First Order. 8 points over there for Kylo Ren. Again, you can only have 20 points in a list now, so these points are very different. Oh, 12 points. Obi-Wan Kenobi is a 12 points. 15 points for Anakin Skywalker. I don't like that at all. I can't run Obi and Anakin together? Oh, I'm sorry, that's loadout value. I'm looking at loadout value. Okay. Okay. See, that scared me. All right, so yes, I can still run Anakin and Obi-Wan together. 7 and 8. Okay, that's right. Delta 7B. Oh, so there is no Delta 7 anymore. So you can't. Oh, it's still there. Okay, so it's. That's so weird. Why wouldn't you just put the Delta 7B as the upgrade? Why is it built into a card now? Because they wanted to cost the upgrade differently or change the loadouts. I think they wanted to change. That's weird. So yeah, I guess the Delta 7B Ether Sprite upgrade card that gave you the extra attack must have hit these guys in a balance point in such a way that, let's see. Let's take an example. Anakin here, 8 and 15 if he's got the Delta 7B. Oh, they wanted to change the upgrades available if you do it, maybe? He's got 2 Force, a missile, a droid, and a mod. But if you take Anakin, he's got 2 Force, a missile, a droid, a config, and a mod. So it's like almost the same thing. 6 and 10 points. And if you do him here, he's 8 and 15 points. So if you make him more expensive, he gets even more points. I mean, it's just too... I don't know. They wanted it to count as another ship, another small ship, like a Z-95. I don't know. All 3 generic Resistance X-Wings have the same cost of 5 points. Really? I gotta go back. Let's find Resistance. Separatists. I gotta go up. If that's true, that's absolutely ludicrous. That they're trying to force you to do road. They want to make sure that everybody has the highest initiative possible to force you into road. Because in a lot of games, road might not even matter. I don't know if that's really what they want to do. Where's Resistance? Scum, Rebel, Imperial. Wait a second. Did I skip right past Resistance? First Order. Scum. All right, so they got to be after First Order. Resistance. Okay. Y-Wings. Oh yeah, yeah. You're like your both of your Y wings are 4 points. They have a different loadout, so maybe it's the loadout value. So you said it was the 3 generic X wings. Let's find the X wings for T70s. All right, here we go. T70s. We've got 3. It's the loadouts that are different. That's why there's a reason. So all right. So I'm like, all right. I'm going to start taking questions. We're going to go to the comments here. Who was it that said that? But so hashtag feel the rhythm says all 3 generic resistant X-wings have the same cost of 5 points. There's no point in running any of the lower pilot skill now. Well, that's where the loadout value comes into play. So so you can. And the upgrades. So, for example, Blue Squadron Rookie is the only one that doesn't have a talent, but he's got 4 points. So he's got more points than the Red Squadron Expert. And then the Black Squadron Ace has 10 points of loadout available. So you're, that, like, I guess it's like the upgrades are a little different, and the loadout value is a little different. So. Please have a look at the TIE Fighters. Let's go look at the TIE Fighters. Let's go up to the Empire. Empire's at the top, aren't they? All right, let's go look at TIE Fighters. You're still maxed at 8, although you do have to have at least 3. TIE Interceptors. You can't put anything on an Obsidian Squadron pilot, but that's still good. That's 2 points for a 3-attack Interceptor. I mean, I never put anything on an Obsidian Squadron anyway. So... Wait, that's TIE Fighter. I'm thinking of Saber Squadron, Alpha Squadron. They're 3 and 4 respectively. Okay. Well, those went up a little bit more. Okay. Academy Pilot is more expensive than Obsidian Squadron? Wait, Academy Pilot's supposed to be the basic. He costs more because you can give him, but only thing he can take is a mod. Black Squadron. Yeah. Oh, and Black Squadron can take more. Yeah, there's why take a cat? Maybe you take Academy Pilot because you want somebody to be able to bump, right? Academy is still Initiative 1, right? You like sometimes there's advantage in forcing a bump, but doesn't make sense to me. Why would you have them this higher pilot skill is the same cost as a lower pilot skill, and the higher pilot skill is better? Yeah, like it's a totally different game now. I can't even pretend. I can't pretend like I know what they're trying to do or what the strategy is here, because it's like I wonder how much of this is typos and mistakes. Like I wonder if what we're looking at is what they actually wanted us to look at, because like this has happened before where they release some stuff and it's backwards and it's wrong and it gets errated and changed like right away. So. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's so weird. That's so weird. Night Beast. Here's a named who's Night Beast is cheaper, too. Like take. It's just like they're just like, we want you to play this one, so you're gonna play it. We'll just make it a rule that I have to take this one. Then I don't know. There are never mistakes on these PDFs. Yeah, right. They hate generics. I don't know. Like, I really feel like they had a bad experience when they were learning X-Wing and they said, screw this. We're going to change all the things that hurt us. I don't know. But yeah. And I hate all the print and play stuff. I hate print and play. Just release the stuff. I don't know. I hate when you have to print and play. Like, I wouldn't mind it if there was a good list builder that had the full text version of all the cards, because like that's what I'll do for like Legion right now, and even for Armada, is because then all the list builders have the full text cards and errated cards built into them. Like I just go for one of those and I just print out the list because I like to see the cards in front of me, but I don't want to have to dig through all of those cards. So yeah, they did the same with Crisis Protocol. They did, but they're also releasing a card pack for all the new Crisis Protocol stuff, which I'm not happy with the way Crisis Protocol is going to be, where half of the cards are upright and half of the cards are rectangular. I don't know. Yeah, I think Green Knight says, did they really need the changes that big? No, but they changed it because they can, and they wanted to, and they wanted a fresh new game. I agree. Well, I think they wanted to have something that was their own, so they can kind of claim ownership of it, and maybe they'll the Delta 7B is banned in standard and extended. Well, it's not really, because you just built it into, they don't want you, they wanted that particular upgrade to give you a point cost as opposed to an upgrade cost. So they built it as a separate thing. Like, this is unnecessary complication. It's on the ban list, but it's actually 100% legal. It just it's just costed differently. So they banned it, but then made you print out new cards. And that's not going to be confusing for new players at all. All of these changes were designed for new players to have a very streamlined and easy approach where they know exactly what they have to do. It's either going to be, they know they have to do assault at the satellite array, they can build for that, or it's going to end up being chance engagement, or it's going to end up being salvage mission, or it's going to end up being scramble the transmission. But it's going to be one of those, so that when they're building their list, they should know which one it's going to be, because they should be able to read the future, and it's going to be easier for them. Can we add AMG to the ban list? I don't know, man. Like, and this might be fun. I think all of this stuff, there's nothing that jumps out of me and this says, hey, this is going to be not fun, right? Although it will be confusing knowing, like, hey, I think the hard part is going to be when you're trying to put upgrades on here and having to remember, since upgrades don't have a printed point cost on them, knowing, like, I think list building is going to be way more difficult. And I think this change put so much work into the people who make those list builders, and maybe hopefully they've been working on it for a while, because you'd have to recode your entire website. You'd have to recode your entire website to do this, because everything, like, this is, and no wonder they said, oh, by the way, we're not doing a list builder anymore. We're not doing a list builder anymore, but the community can still do it. But then they changed this so that the community can't do it the same way they always have. It's going to be 100% different, because it only has to keep two separate running tabs. Your list cost of up to 20, and then your loadout value, which doesn't matter for your list cost, but does matter for each individual ship's loadout value. And by the way, every time there's a points update and those values change, you got to recode everything, which that probably won't be as hard because they have to do that sort of thing anyway. But since they're being, that's just crazy. So there's a lot of work that they just put onto the community because if you're just using this document to build stuff, you're going to have multiple PDFs. Like trying to build a list right now without the help of a document would be an absolute nightmare. Well, that would be an absolute nightmare. This is hard for everybody. Now, what will be easier is when they finally pull back the curtain all the way. Because, of course, with this kind of complexity, of course, 100% of course, they're trying to push this game into a quick build only format. Just like Marvel Crisis Protocol. They want this to be a quick build game. Now, while that will constitute a massive change to X-Wing, I don't think that would make it unfun. I don't think that would make it not fun. I think quick builds could be plenty of fun. So yeah. And by the way, what's the point of a ban list when you've got the same information on the ship points document and on the upgrade points document? It's already there. Why do you have a ban list when you already have a ban list? Right? Or this is, I should say, a legal list. Like, I still don't understand that. I still don't understand the purpose of the ban list when it's already there. When it's literally already there. I don't get that. I don't get that. And I'll have to read over more in the scenario guide to find out what the range 1.5 ruler is for. Because that's another big change, and that's why I don't think you can just say that this isn't a new edition. Like, this is why one of those reasons you can't say this is 3.0. You got so much stuff to print out, so much stuff that you're gonna have to buy another box for, of course, and all this stuff is gonna come in a new starter eventually. It has to. I think they're holding out for the new starter until they get all the quick builds. Once this gets absorbed and they get all the people who are on their payroll to go out and say, guys, isn't this the greatest thing ever? Again, I'm not saying it's the worst thing ever. I don't know yet, and we'll know at some point, maybe maybe it'll be fun. I don't know. I don't like scenarios, so I'm already biased against scenario play. I don't like this. I like X-Wing for dogfighting, and I don't like this because now I can win a scenario without firing a shot. When they demonstrated this game, not one player killed another player's ship. There were some people like killed their own ships by flying into asteroids, but they didn't kill anybody's ships. So their demo of scenarios left me with the taste in my mouth that I'm just got to fly close to the objective and park my ship there. So it seems like they want to encourage fortressing as long as it's fortressing on top of an objective. You want to get on the objective, you want to stop there, and, hey, if you can, maybe shoot some ships. Like, to me, that's not X-Wing at all. That's a whole different game, And I don't see how that makes it any closer. Because that's what Crisis Protocol is. That's what happens with Marvel Crisis Protocol. You want to get to the objective, you have to stay there. Or in some cases, you have to grab one and run it away. But usually you run two scenarios at the same time. And then you don't have to kill other people. A lot of games you don't kill anybody. I've played lots of games of Marvel Crisis Protocol where nobody dies. And it's all about running around and trying to do some disruption, but also really just locking down objectives. And you can kill people, but you don't have to. And it really works for that game, and Marvel Crisis Protocol is a fun game. So I'm not saying that these aren't going to be fun, but I feel like this turns X-Wing into Marvel Crisis Protocol. They made the game a tower defense game, says AGU Darksaber. All right, that's pretty much it. I'm not going to re-go over everything else. If you just joined, the big bullet points are fleets are now 20 points. Fleets are now 20 points. Upgrades are all free, but you can only take so many. So every ship has an upgrade threshold, basically a loadout point value, and that's and then we have a range 1.5 ruler, and plus all the other changes that they've been giving us. They've been giving us like a massive new amount of changes every couple of weeks, and this one is a pretty big one. There's a ban and restrictive list that doesn't make any sense because the points list still say what's banned and what's allowed and what's not allowed. So, the banned and restrictive list it doesn't make sense. When is the painting contest over? I said I was going to give it a few more days. I'll probably announce the winner maybe this weekend. It depends. It's been a busy week. We'll see what happens. But if you have something else you want to get in there, you do have some time left. You have a little bit of time left to get that. By the way, I did say we were going to give away those 2 promos. Give me a hashtag promo if you want one of the promos. We're going to do... actually, let me know if you want... that. Here's a better idea. If you want the Rebels promo, which has got an Inquisitor and Agent Kallus, or if you want the sequel trilogy promo. I'll pick one winner. Whichever one doesn't win will go into the Discord giveaways section where we have other giveaways that are going over in there. And so I'll mail that to you if you win. Just let me know in chat with a hashtag promo and which one you'd like. And I'll choose that at the end of the stream. We're going to go for a little bit longer. You hope the rules are an early April Fool's joke. They're not. I mean, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff in the rules reference guide too. There's also a whole rules reference guide. Now, cool thing is they did go back to updating new text in blue, and I haven't even gotten in to dive into that much. We got the description of the Blaze Bomb. We've got the deficit scoring, which the deficit scoring thing annoys me now a little bit because you might not be able to fit any more points. You might very well only be able to fit 19 points or something like that. Because I need this other TIE Interceptor, but I can't fit him, so I would have to take a TIE Fighter. Or I'm at 19 points, and this is the build I want, but I can't fit another ship because there's no 1-point ships. So, yeah, deficit scoring is, really rude. I don't like deficit scoring. You're punishing people for playing the list they want, And that's another thing, too. As long as people can still make builds... As long as people can still build stuff, I go back to the initial thing where the obfuscate remark at the beginning. Why was this change made? Players were asked to engineer an obfuscated advantage that was difficult to assess with fresh eyes. one where they had to force their opponents into traps or scenarios that were advantageous to themselves while avoiding their opponent's attempts to do the same. How is that any different than every war game in existence, including this one? You still try to force your opponent into a situation that is advantageous for you and disadvantageous for your opponent. Advantageous. I'm making up my own words now. You know, like, you're always going to do that. And if you're not trying to do advantage versus advantage, then you're not playing a game. That's the whole point of playing a game. I guess you're just coin flipping, right? Or doing something where it's completely 100% equal chance for everybody else. I mean, I guess just rolling a single die, and you each roll a d6, and whoever gets the higher number wins. Well, at least in that contest, no one player has an advantage over another. It's like they don't want anybody to have an advantage. Then why have upgrades at all? Why have dice? Make every ship the same. Everybody has 2 attack, 2 agility, and 2 hull, and 2 shields. And the only thing that's different is the models. And every ship can do like a 1 straight, a 1 bank, or a 1 hard turn. And that's all you can do. All right? Make every ship the same. There's no advantage. Like, I don't like. They didn't like an advantage that they had in some game, and they're trying to. Again, this is my main criticism: is this document and the reasoning behind. It'll make new players be able to compete, and they're gonna have it's gonna be so easy for them. They're gonna know exactly what they need to do. When they won't, because now there's 4 scenarios. It used to just be a dogfight. So. Yeah, it's time to make it their own game. They certainly have, but I wish they would just say that. We wanted to make it our own game. We wanted to make X-Wing Crisis Protocol. I wish that's what they would just do. Is just make it X-Wing Crisis Protocol, give it a new name. It's their own game, But like list building on paper for now. Good luck with that. That's going to be the most complicated thing imaginable. Trying to like look up the new point because everything's got new points. Every ship's got new loadouts and a new loadout value. And so now you have to do your ship points up to 20 instead of 200. You need to look at the loadout value, which doesn't matter, but it does matter. The silver lining is that they stopped touching Armada. Armada's not done, but this isn't, I don't know. It's just crazy to me. Like, if they had done this level of stuff to Armada, I don't know, man. I don't know. But advantage is not the same as overpowered, says David. Yeah, I think so. I think there's nothing wrong with having advantage. And they clearly are okay with that because they left upgrades and they left the ability to design your own list in the game for now. I'm pretty sure this game is going to be quick build only before they're done with it. But and they'll have no problem doing that since quick builds have been in the game since forever. The problem is quick builds suck. Pardon my language. Quick builds, the way they initially came out, are terrible because you have to pull out this quick build card, and then you still got to pull out all the other cards that go with it because the quick build doesn't tell you what the cards do. And there's a lot of stuff in this game, and it can get complicated to remember the exact way things are worded, plus errata and all that other stuff. So, like, they need to just make quick build cards. Like, the way they did Crisis Protocol's unit cards are great because it tells you everything they do on the card. It's brilliant, and it's a simple game. It's a more casual, friendly, but competitive and fun and thematic game. I love it. It's one of my favorite games. And so if they make X-Wing more like that, that could be fine. But what they've done right now is I think X-Wing needs to go quick build. Look what happens to Guild Ball. I don't know. Guild Ball seems to be doing well. People still play it. I don't know. I don't have the negative stigma for these guys that some of you all do, but you were really hoping for some of the old FFGers to leak 2.0 points for the Mandalorian wave. Oh, that would have been cool. Closest I could get to you is some old 1.0 points for some 2.0 stuff that came out there, like Lando's Falcon. So once upon a time I had the old 1.0 stuff for the Lando Falcon because it was tested originally in 1.0, which I'm not supposed to talk about, but oh well, but we're so far past that, yeah. Maybe somebody will. I don't know. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with just using the new points and seeing how that works. I just don't like the reasoning behind it. This document to me is terrible. You know, like the reasonings behind it. You're not going to know what you have to do. Now, in the scenario thing, it says you can pick your own scenario or you can randomize it. But they've already said that in tournaments, it's going to be randomized. So if you're picking your own scenario, then that's homebrew. You know, that's a kitchen table game. And if you're doing that, then you can do whatever you want. Then you can play all cards in the ban list. You know, where are you seeing these changes? These are over on Atomic Mass Games website. It's under the X-Wing documents now. You've got all of this stuff. You've got this X-Wing rules reference, the X-Wing errata reference, ship points, upgrade points, scenarios, ban list, and the update article, which is the main thing that I have a problem with. The article is the problem for me. Is their reasoning why they're doing all of these massive changes is they think it's going to make it easier for new players. I would only buy this. I would only buy this if they had also given us quick builds. That's the only way I would believe that they wanted this to be easier for new players, because the list building now is 10 times more complicated, and it punishes you if you can't get to exactly 20 points. So if you're doing odd-numbered pilots, you had better, you know, change the list you wanted to make it fit 20 exactly. You know, yeah, and they didn't give you the Gauntlets 2.0 cost and all that other stuff too. No. Well, I mean, I guess you can surmise, right? Like what they might have been. Like, let's see, are they even in here? Let's find the Gauntlet Fighter. It'd be under G. Ozatok. Wait, we're under Rebels. All right, let's find the Rebel Gauntlets. B, H, RZ1. I didn't even look at the Gauntlet. Wait, are the Gauntlets not in here yet? Did they really not put the Gauntlets in here? Wasn't that the whole point of all of this stuff? The ban list is large and brutal. Yeah, it is large. But ignore it if you want. Hey, they say you can pick your own scenario. So, of course, that's not going to be the way in tournaments. But if you're not playing in a tournament, then use whatever you want from the ban list. You know. Yeah. Are they going to reprint all the cards? I think so. What I think is going to happen, I think AMG is going to make a new 3.0. They won't call it 3.0, but they'll call it a new core. They'll make a 3.0 core set, and they'll name it something else. They'll call it Starter Box, X-Wing Starter Box instead of core set or something like that, and it will have AMG's version of X-Wing inside of it, and it will be quick builds only. And that's my guess. But the good quick builds, larger cards like that, have all of the text on them. That's my guess. I actually want AMG to do that. I think I'm just tired of them kind of lying about this. I don't know, maybe lying isn't the right word, but this whole thing about like, the game wasn't, we made these changes because there used to be advantages in the games, and you used to have to obfuscate advantage that was difficult to access with fresh eyes, and we didn't like that you would try to lure your opponent into a scenario that was advantageous to you. Well, nothing changes that, right? Like, the only thing, I mean, and honestly, even with quick builds, any kind of game where there are human players and there's strategy involved is going to have you trying to get all that stuff. So, I don't know, guys. That's going to do it for me for today. There'll be more coming. I'll try to do more of a summarized breakdown on all of these new rules. But let me know what you guys think. I will talk to you soon. Join the Discord too. Let me give away the stream. We had AGU Dark Shadow. You're gonna win the Rebel promo, which means you're gonna get the Agent Callus and Fifth Brother. Just shoot me an email with your contact information at mailcrabbok@gmail.com. This Captain Phasma promo with Paige Tico is going to also go up on Discord. So anybody who didn't win, you have, and I'll leave this up there for about a week. So you have plenty of time. So join the Discord. We have we're very family friendly. We have X-Wing sections. The discussion continues over there. We also have a giveaway sections over there as well. And don't forget, when you join the X-Wing, when you join the Discord, we've got a thing called server stuff, so you can go like the role and get your, like with the games that you play, so you can get your own role color for whatever games that you play. So if you only play X-Wing, you can do that. If you play X-Wing Armada, Legion, Marvel Crisis Protocol, Games Workshop games, all kinds of stuff like that. There's still the painting, and there's still time left to enter the painting competition as well. So that's going to do it. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, may the Force be with you. Big thanks to the patrons. You guys are amazing and help make this all possible. So thank you for your continued support. If you want to learn more about that, again, also check the links in the description below. I'll see you later.